My name is Teresa Johnson, and this is Shelly Gaines, and we're here today to teach you how to do African American hair care.
As parents and caregivers, we recognize that good grooming correlates to positive self-esteem for everyone, but mainly for kids in care. We want to positively impact what kids experience in care by helping you help our young people feel good about how they look, which is the most important thing. Everyone wants to look great. First, we're going to start off with the components of hair. So, hair is made up of 5 different components that are major in the hair strands: carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, and sulfur. These components are found in all hair textures. Doesn't matter if it's straight, wavy, or excessively curly. All these components are found in hair. So let's pretend, for instance, that this is your scalp area. Everyone has sebaceous glands that secrete oils from the scalp. How they secrete onto the hair shaft depends on how your follicle is made. Everybody has follicles. So then the hair grows out from the follicles, and it depends on your genetic makeup on how that hair looks. Either the hair will be straight, the hair will be wavy, or the hair will be excessively curly. It's determined, of course, on your genetic makeup. But we all have sebaceous glands that are on the scalp, and these sebaceous glands secrete the oils that come out through the hair follicle down to the hair shaft. On the straight hair, the oil comes straight down through the hair shaft, allowing to make the hair more pliable, more movable, and you'll find that on straight hair, when the sebaceous gland secretes the oils, it makes the hair a little more limp, and it can not have a lot more body to it. So you'll find that on straight texture of hair, you will shampoo the hair every 1 to 2 days. On wavy texture of hair, you'll find that the oils will secrete the same way, but you'll find that it takes its time getting down the hair shaft because the hair is wavy. You'll also find that at the ends of the hair may tend to be a little more drier because it's not able to get the natural oils that naturally come from your scalp. So you'll find that with wavy hair, you may have to shampoo every 2 to 3 days as needed. And again, this is on naturally, non-chemically treated hair. When it gets to excessively curly hair, you'll find the hair grows out the hair follicle in loops. So you'll find that the oils will come out the scalp but have a hard time getting onto the hair shaft. Usually it stops about here, and this is the natural oils. So you'll find that on excessively curly hair, your natural oils do not get down to the ends. So you'll find that you may not want to shampoo this hair as often because it's not able to get its own natural oils down through the hair shaft. So you'll find with excessively curly hair, you may only need to shampoo every 10 to 14 days or as needed. It depends on how active your child is, whether they're in sports or whether they swim.
If the hair is only a 1/2 inch long, then you can shampoo it more often. This diagram, we're referring to people who have hair that are over 2 inches long. But on hair that is 1/2 inch long, which most of the young men are, that hair can be shampooed daily, and then you must replace the lost moisture. So if you shampoo your son's hair after swimming, you want to replace the oil in the hair using a conditioner and a light oil, and again applying lotions and oils to the body because it dries out very easily, and especially due to the chlorine in the pool. So on straight texture hair, you would use shampoos that would remove oil from the hair, allowing that hair to have more body and more volume. On the wavy texture hair, you may need a shampoo that has a little bit more moisture components in it, something with humectants that can help keep that hair lustrous, pliable, and replace some of the lost moisture. And in excessively curly hair, it's in a coil type shape. So you would use a shampoo that is going to replace the moisture, a humectant shampoo. On straight texture of hair, you wouldn't use any oil. On the wavy texture hair, you may need a light oil, and you use something that is similar to our natural oil. On excessively curly hair, because the oil is only able to get about a half of an inch to 1 inch off the scalp, then you would need to use an oil to moisturize that hair, make it pliable, and replace the lost shine and luster. So we recommend that you use shampoos that are professional shampoos. Paul Mitchell shampoo is one. We have Care shampoo. But on cost-effective shampoos, we've gone and found a list of shampoos that you can buy in your grocery store. Suave has a moisturizing shampoo. Motions has a moisturizing shampoo, and you can go to your local Sally Beauty Supply or your local drugstore, and just remember when you're choosing your shampoos for your children that they are shampoos that have humectants in them.
Then we're getting into the conditioners. On excessively curly hair, you do need to condition the hair each time that it is shampooed. We recommend also conditioners that have a lot of humectants in it and moisture in it. On excessively curly hair, you may not want to get a protein-based conditioner because protein helps strengthens the hair. It's okay to do it sometimes, but for the most part, you want to stick with moisture-based conditioners. Again, with the conditioners, we do recommend professional products. We do recommend the Paul Mitchell for your conditioners, like the Instant Moisture conditioner or the Supercharged conditioners. Those are very strong in humectants, and they help detangle the hair, and they help it to become more pliable. Also in the drugstores, Motions conditioners, as well as Optimum conditioners, or you can go to, like Teresa said, the local Sally's Beauty Supply to be able to pick out your proper conditioners along with your shampoo. In order to hold the moisture in on a daily basis, you want to make sure that your child wraps their hair up in a nice satin cap or a silk scarf if they are of age. Sometimes the little ones, it comes off. But if you can get them used to wrapping their hair up in a satin cap or a scarf, it helps keep the moisture in the hair. When we're sleeping at night, we all are wrapped up in comforters, or we have cotton pillowcases, and all those things take the moisture off your body. It's supposed to do that. But on our hair, you want to make sure that whatever you put in the hair, you want it to stay until you're able to wash it out. So you want to make sure that you have the hair wrapped up properly, and make sure it's oiled properly and lubricated.
One of the things that we like to mention is that doing African American hair requires a commitment of time. So when you are doing your own hair, let's say you have straight texture, it may take you 15 minutes each day to shampoo and air dry your hair. But on African American hair, it requires a real commitment of time. The process can take up to an hour and maybe an hour and a half. So we recommend that you use that time wisely and use that time to be positive. Use positive choice and words when speaking to your child. Stay away from negative terminology, and just remember that this is a time of sharing and a time to get to know your child. Again, it requires a real commitment of time. So I like to tell people that to take that 15 minutes that you use every day and add it up in 1 week's time, and that's how much time you would use to do the excessively curly hair. So some of the negative terminology that we'd like to steer away from is telling your child that they have knotty hair, nappy hair, bad hair. We like to replace those with everyone has good hair. Everyone has good hair. Hair that cooperates and does what it's supposed to do is good hair. So we use the term excessively curly, but we like to stay away again from negative terminology, because this does not help promote positive self-esteem in your child.
And skin on children with more melanin in their skin tends to be a little more dry. So you want to make sure that after you bathe your child, you want to make sure you put a nice oil or lotion with oil in it over the whole entire body, and that keeps the skin moist and more pliable and pleasing to look at. If your child has other issues like eczema or other type of extreme dryness, there are other products out there that you can use for your child.
Physoderm, Aquaphor, lotions that have cocoa butter, vitamin E oil, hydrocortisone. You can use hydrocortisone on that skin, but remember, if you use full strength hydrocortisone, it has a tendency to discolor the skin. So you may want to use A, D, and E ointment on your child, or maybe a Vaseline lotion instead of things that have a lot of strong components in it, because that will irritate the child. And remember that children, they are more irritated than adults. So you may find that you want to stick to things that have less perfume because the child's skin is more sensitive.
And it's a good thing to remember with infants to stick to baby shampoos and stick to things for baby. You can use the detangling shampoos that are made for baby, or you can just use, if it's a little small infant, just use the baby bath, and then to lightly oil the baby, just so the baby can have nice lubricated skin, and their hair will be nice as well.
Generally, with small children, we like for you to use a simple hairstyle. The styles that we choose for children are one simple ponytail, maybe a simple braid style, but something where the child doesn't sit for a long period of time, because you're going to spend time on shampooing, detangling, and combing out this hair. And it may be an uncomfortable experience. You may notice that your child may cry or tell you that this hurts, because in excessively curly hair, it will tangle. And you know that hair sheds, everyone's hair sheds 50 to 100 strands per day. So you need to detangle that hair every day. And on curly hair, the hair can get caught up in the coil and become difficult to comb. So during your shampoo and comb out process, it may tangle. So remember, your child may experience a little bit of discomfort, but reassure them that over time and with proper care, that this process will become easier.
And you also want to remember to stay away from chemicals at a young age. And what a chemical does is relax the hair out, make it more pliable. But for little ones, we don't recommend them having any type of chemicals on their hair.
And just to reiterate that the chemical that is used on the child's hair is sodium hydroxide, and if it's left on for a certain amount of time, it can cause severe burns and damage to children. So we recommend that you just stay clear of chemicals. If you send a child to the salon, you might want to make sure that the stylist that is working with your child knows about natural hair care. So we'd like to introduce our model, Brianna. Brianna is 8 years old? 7 years old. And she's going to be our model today. And she has excessively curly hair. So we're going to show you how to shampoo and do a comb out in a simple style on Brianna today.
So before you get ready to do your child's hair, you want to make sure you have everything in place. You want to make sure that you have a wide tooth comb. You want to make sure you have your clips. You want to make sure that you have your shampoo and conditioners all ready to go. This helps when your child is at a younger age to be more organized about making sure you have everything together, so that it will be an easier experience for them. Also, you have to remember it does take time to do excessively curly hair. So it's best to make sure you have everything prepared for them and have a certain day and a time that you do these things. So we'll go right on to Teresa and Bria.
So first, you want to remove any bands, clips, or barrettes out of their hair. And we're going to comb out and detangle Brianna's hair before we shampoo. That hair that would naturally shed off is still loose in this hair, so we're going to remove that hair. The wide tooth comb and the clips we use for control. So I'm going to take Bree's hair and I'm separating her hair. This is going to make it easier for me. Going to detangle her hair from the ends to the scalp. Just removing any hair that would naturally shed off daily. How you doing, Bree? Good.
This is a good time to talk to your child on their own grooming habits, because everything they're going to learn from you. So if you're a parent or if you're a caregiver, your child is going to learn everything from you. So this is a good time to teach them about grooming and about doing their hair, so that when they get older, they'll be able to do these things themselves.
Hair loose in a comb is normal. If you have an extreme amount of hair loss, then that would be something that you would want to talk again to your pediatrician. But normally, hair sheds 50 to 100 strands per day. So after we've detangled Bree's hair, we're going to take her back to the shampoo bowl and get her shampooed.
So now we're in the shampoo area, and we're going to shampoo Bria's hair. But before we get started, we do realize that for parents and caregivers, you do not have shampoo bowls in your home. So you can use your kitchen sink, use your kitchen counter to lay your child on, to have them stretch out on the kitchen counter, lay them back in the kitchen sink, and put your arm there, maybe as a buffer for their neck, or you can fold a towel up around their neck and have them lay back, and you're able to shampoo their hair in the sink. Or you can shampoo them in the bathtub. Make sure that your child has their swimsuit on, and you can put them in the bathtub and have them lean back there and go ahead and shampoo their hair. Or you can teach them also using the shower head to shampoo their hair. But we're going to show you a demonstration of shampooing excessively curly hair. She's going to get the water temperature warm. And you want to remember that with excessively curly hair, the hair hasn't been shampooed from 10 to 14 days. So you want to make sure that you thoroughly saturate the hair with water. I mean thoroughly. Like, do really good rinsing before you shampoo. That way it can loosen up the oils and the debris. And remember, you combed the hair out prior to shampooing. So you want to make sure that you really saturate the excessively curly hair so you can get a nice, rich lather. You can get a nice hose that can attach to your kitchen sink faucet, and that can help and make it easier for you. And with excessively curly hair, we chose an instant moisture shampoo to cleanse the hair. Just keep your eyes closed, Bria.
So I put the shampoo in my hands and I'm emulsifying it so that I can get a good rich lather. That way I'm not wasting my product. Getting the most out of my product. And this shampoo that we chose, how you doing, is Paul Mitchell's Instant Moisture Shampoo. And it's going to hydrate that hair and detangle it. Make sure you massage that hair from the front to the back and all the way from the scalp to the ends, because we want to loosen up any dry skin and dirt and dust from that hair. Gently massaging it. Because this hair is only shampooed every 7 to 10 days, you may have to shampoo twice. And we use oil in that hair, so you want to make sure that you get rid of all that oil. How you doing, Bree?
Good.
Good. Bree, can you turn your head towards this way? Thank you. You can ask your child to turn their head to the left or the right so that you can rinse that neckline very good. And then turn your head towards me. There we go. Making sure you rinse all that shampoo out completely. I'm going to give her another shampoo. Doesn't use a lot of shampoo. If you use it right, you don't have to use that much. So we're going to get that shampoo. And she can relax and enjoy her shampoo. Again, you just want to use the tips of your fingers. You don't want to use the nail because you don't want to scrape that scalp and cause an abrasion. So we're going to rinse Brianna's hair off thoroughly, removing all the shampoo so that we can put her conditioner on. And it's important that you rinse all that shampoo off because product can leave behind a residue that resembles dandruff. So you want to make sure that even when you're rinsing off your conditioner that you do a thorough rinse. If you have to lift that hair up, do so. And having all your tools will make it easier. So be prepared because it helps in making your time go by faster. So Bri, I want you to turn your head this direction. And I'm going to rinse that neckline very carefully. Getting that back area. And it's okay again to lift that hair up. Make sure you move all that shampoo. So we have shampooed Bri's hair. Let's lift you up for one moment. After you shampoo, you just want to pat it to keep it from dripping. And then put your conditioner on. And we chose a heavy cream conditioner. It's an instant moisture. Emulsify it in your hands and apply it again all the way, especially to the ends, mid-shaft, to the ends of the hair. And that's where the hair is more drier. The new hair is being lubricated by the sebaceous glands daily, so you don't have to focus that conditioner on right at the scalp. Enough of that will get down to that scalp by the natural body's heat. Okay, so we've got it through. And now we're going to detangle this hair again. using a wide tooth comb. And the purpose of this is to make sure that we get the conditioner all the way through the hair evenly. Bree, you okay? And it's going to help detangle that hair and replace the lost moisture and give it back that luster and that shine, a natural shine. Healthy hair has its own luster and natural shine. If you can see that although she has a tight curl pattern, I'm able with this conditioner to comb easily through her hair, and I start at the ends of the hair and I work my way up to the scalp area. At this time, some people will experience, their child will experience some discomfort, and that's normal. And it's okay. We like to tell the children it's okay if it hurts to say that it hurts. But over a period of time, this process gets easier and easier. And like right now, you can see I'm not having a problem combing her hair all the way through. And she's got a lot of hair. Let me have you sit up a little bit more so that you can see. You may notice that I detangled it before shampooing. I'm detangling it with the conditioner in it, and that's helping. It's making that hair soft and pliable so that I can get through. And I will have to detangle this hair one more time after I rinse it. That's detangled. Let me comb this side here. Once you get in the habit of doing this on a regular basis, it gets easier and it takes less time. So again, we're starting at the ends. I'm holding that hair so that I'm not pulling on her scalp and it's not hurting her. And you can see very little hair is coming out in the comb. But normal shedding is 50 to 100 strands per day. Generally, by the time you've combed and detangled these 4 sections, the conditioner has sat on the hair long enough. And this is a heavier cream conditioner, so it can penetrate without having heat. When they go to the beauty salon, of course, they can sit under a dryer with a processing cap and it'll penetrate a little bit further. But at home, we don't recommend that you go through all that. Our main objective is to get that hair clean and detangled and dry so that they can go on about the rest of their day. Okay, Bree. So you doing okay so far? Mm-hmm. Good. Okay, so this is about how much that came out in her comb out. Look how much I combed out. Does that seem like a lot of hair? Not really. Doesn't even seem like 50 strands. And now we're going to rinse you back off again. Thank you, Sheila. All right. That was easy. Want to rinse that hair with the cooler water, not cold, but a little cooler, because hot water causes the hair to swell, and cooler water causes it, closes the pores and causes it to de-swell. And again, we want to rinse thoroughly, removing that conditioner out of that hair so that it doesn't leave a residue on that scalp. If you put too much conditioner on the hair and you don't rinse it, it has a tendency to adhere to the scalp and it looks like dandruff. Okay, and your shampoo and conditioner is complete. Grab another towel. Let's sit you up. Okay, so we're going to take Bree back to our station and get her combed out. Okay, so we've just finished washing Bree's hair, and we're going to comb it out and get ready to blow dry her hair. So we like to section this hair into 4 sections. We have a wide tooth comb and our clips, and we use those for control. So I'm sectioning this hair. And you kind of want to move swiftly through this process because we don't want these natural curls to set in. Because once those natural curls set in, it's very hard to detangle them. The hair is easier to detangle while it's damp. However, it's also, on African American hair, it's easier to break when it's wet because of the string-like thread, that the shape that our hair is in when you pull it. Okay, so I'm detangling one of her sections again from the ends to the scalp. So I'm putting a little leave-in conditioner, about a pea-size amount on each section, and that's helping me detangle Bree's hair. Again, I want to comb through this hair, holding the ends, starting from the bottom of the hair shaft all the way to the scalp area. Okay, so I'm just kind of using a 2-strand motion to twist that hair again for control. A pea-size amount on that hair. We've already combed this hair through at the shampoo bowl with the conditioner, so it should be fairly easy to comb through. It's actually combing through quite nicely. So we've got her all combed through from scalp to ends. And again, at this point in time, sometimes depending on how curly that hair is, it can get a little tangled and become a little uncomfortable and unpleasant for your child. But we do the best job that we can do. Try to move swiftly. We have all our tools, and try to make this the most pleasant experience because we want them to develop good habits. And by the time that they are 10 years old, they are able to help and aid in their own hair care. I have a comb attachment on this. It's a thick comb attachment, and it makes it a lot easier. And you can purchase these at a beauty supply for anywhere from $4 to $12. And I'm doing the same thing with my comb attachment as I did with my comb. I'm starting from the end and I'm working my way to the scalp area. At this point, her hair is almost dry in this section. That's when I use my liquid oil. And again, you don't need to use a lot of these products because the heat, it'll spread and disperse this hair throughout nicely. When I touch Bree's hair, I don't want to see residue of oil on my hands. I just need enough to coat her hair. So just a small amount on each section. Again, always remember to emulsify the oils in your hand and just rub them right on. We don't like to use things that require us to scoop out because they can be contaminated. So that's why we like to use oil, something that can be poured directly out of a jar. When you have more than one child in the home, it's just better for sanitation reasons that you use something that can be poured. So here I am. You see how easily and nicely that this blow dryer is blowing through Bree's hair. And if you notice, I didn't put the oil on when I first began the blow dry because the oil's job is to moisturize the hair. I don't want to spend a lot of time fighting off. If I put the oil on the hair while it's wet, I'm going to hold more water in. So I want to blow dry that hair when it's almost dry, a little bit damp. And then I let my heat do my work by distributing that oil from the scalp area all the way down to the ends. And after each section is blow dried, Bree's hair can be styled in a very simple hairstyle. I'll move to my next section, and you can see that when I touch her hair, there is no residue on my hands. Again, a small amount of oil. Emulsify it. Put it through the hair. As I'm blow drying, you're not seeing a lot of hair particles flying all over the place because I've removed any excess hair during my comb out. I combed her hair before we shampooed. I detangled her hair at the shampoo bowl with a wide tooth comb and her conditioner, and now I'm blow drying this hair. This process can take up to 15 to 20 minutes sometimes, depending on the child's hair. And if I used 4 sections for Bree, but if the hair is coarser or longer, you may have to use more sections. You may have to use 5, 6, or even 7 sections, but don't worry about how many sections. Do whatever many sections you need to control that hair. This is a good time to talk to your child, maybe put on their favorite movie, go over their homework, or simply just find out how their day has been. In our previous classes, families have gotten together with one another and formed different groups and take turns swapping and doing other children's hair. And they use it as a day of fun and grooming, painting their nails, and they just make it a really fun experience. And it gets the children involved with their own grooming, and they enjoy that time. It's a good time to bond with your children. So again, I put oil. I'm just going to blow dry that one more time, and we'll be ready to get her styled. Brianna's hair is dry and blowed out fairly straight, and at this point her hair is easily to comb through. I can comb through with a smaller comb with no tangles, and this is the time where you decide what style am I going to choose for my daughter's hair. And again, we prefer that you use simplistic styles according to their age. It's very hard to have a child sit for long periods of time. And in our classes, we often get lots of questions about different styles, about braid styles. And we always tell them, just remember that you want to choose a style that's simplistic according to your child's age. So, I personally don't recommend that you put small braids in a child's hair under the age of 12 because it takes such a long time to put them in, and generally they're not going to sit that long comfortably while you comb their hair. You've already taken maybe up to an hour to 45 minutes or so, and even longer in some cases, to shampoo and detangle that hair. Getting that child to sit another 45 minutes to an hour is just entirely too long. Some children come into these homes, and they've been in other homes, and people have put added hair into their hair. We don't recommend that you do that. Also because it's time consuming and it's costly. A braid style with added hair can range from $45 up to $150. And that process takes a few hours, and it needs to be done every 3 to 6 weeks. So you can see that it is a big expense, and along with chemicals. So today I'm going to do a simple braid style.
While Teresa's styling Bria, let's recap some things that we talked about. We do not recommend any chemicals on any child, especially a girl, until after her first menstrual cycle. A lot of times your hormones change a lot during the time of puberty, so we don't recommend any chemicals up until that time. And even afterwards, we strongly try to encourage natural hair care versus any chemicals because, again, it is costly to maintain a chemical service on a young girl. Usually, a relaxer touch-up, it needs to be done every 6 to 8 weeks, and it can be costly depending on which professional salon that you get it done at. So we just don't recommend. We're trying to show you a natural way of doing things until a child can afford to maintain their own hair themselves. Also, we want to touch on more on skin. In our classes that we conduct for the state, we've come across different questions from parents. One of them on Mongolian spots that are found on infants. Usually on the Mongolian spots, a child is born with them and it can look like a light bruising, but over a period of time they will fade as the child gets bigger. If you find discomfort with that, you might want to see your doctor about that or a dermatologist on that. But for the most part, they will fade as the child becomes older. Also in our classes that we conduct, we get questions on how to keep a child cleaner around the neck area. You want to make sure that you teach the child to wash the backs of their necks, or if they wear jewelry or anything that can cause a little bit of discoloration around the back of the neck, you want to make sure that they take it off daily and make sure they wash behind their neck and behind the ears. And that's really just teaching proper grooming habits. Another question we get is on eczema, how to deal with a child with extreme patches of dryness on skin. Earlier we touched on the different oils that you can use for eczema. We also touched on hydrocortisone cream. You want to be careful with hydrocortisone cream. You may want to dilute it with AD&E oil on your younger ones who have eczema, because it can, on pigmented skin, it can cause it to have a little discoloration. So you want to be careful of that and maybe dilute the product down. If not, try to use natural oils like jojoba oil, cocoa butter, and all those natural ingredients that help lubricate the skin and keep it more pliable and keep it less drying. We also have had questions on a lot of dry skin, just naturally dry skin. And again, earlier we touched on that as soon as a child bathes in the bathtub, you want to make sure that they're taught to lotion their full body from the neck all the way down to their feet. And this is something that can help with grooming, to lotion the skin, to keep it pliable and keep it looking shiny and healthy. You want to make sure you do that again from the neck down to the toes. Sometimes on the face area, you may want to use something a little bit lighter because the face kind of is more, the skin on the face is a little bit more sensitive. And on your teenage children, you want to make sure you're using the proper things on their faces so they won't break out with pimples and things as they grow. So we're getting back to Bria. And Teresa's doing some simple styles on Bria. She's showing a simple style for her age group and getting a nice style for her.
So I chose to put 2 French braids on Bria's hair. And you want to be careful about using a lot of rubber bands on their hair because it can pull the end of the hair. Because the hair is naturally curly, it will wrap around a rubber band. So you want to go and get rubber bands that are coated and place those at the ends, or use a nice clip. You can use a clip on their hair, and remember, when they go to bed at night, just remove those clips because you don't want that hair to catch. We use satin caps or bonnets on the children's hair because that locks in the moisture, and it'll keep that style lasting longer and keep that luster and that shine. We ask that you wash those caps, satin bonnets, weekly so that you don't have an excessive buildup of sweat and oil. So you can just buy one that you can toss it in the wash right with your other clothes. And then one of the things that we tell them is When they make their beds up, because we have to teach them other good habits, you just put their satin cap or bonnet right underneath their pillow, and that way you don't have to lose them. We want to remind our kids not to share hats, combs, and brushes with other children. We have had lots of questions on head lice and other things that can be contracted. And most often, African American children do not catch hair lice because they can't adhere to the oil. We use oil in the hair, and so therefore the lice slide off the hair strand. But in case that your child does catch hair lice, there is products at the drugstore that you can buy. Well, they will give you a box of shampoo. And sometimes they'll give you a comb that's about as big as a mustache comb. You cannot comb through excessively curly hair with that small comb. So you want to take a wide tooth comb and comb through that hair, and make sure you saturate that hair with that shampoo and get it all the way through. And again, if you have any problems, you can contact your doctor and they can give you a stronger prescription for something else. Okay, so I'm almost done with Bria's hair, and I just chose to do something really simple today. And you can be really creative and get really fun with these different ponytails. I just like to do different styles on them, and so that you can decorate it with ribbons and bows and accessories that coordinate with whatever the child is wearing that day. But today we're just going to do a simple style. And again, these styles will last a few days as long as they're covered up. We often get questions about braids, but as you can see, I'm not pulling her braids so tight that I am pulling the hair out of the follicle. You should take your child to a professional braider if they're going to wear braids over the age of 12. If not, you can contact your local beauty school or the community colleges, and often they will provide classes, or you can go to website and punch in hair care, and they can give you tips on styling, and possibly where you can take classes on simple braid styles. Bree has been a wonderful model for us today.
I think that we really want to iterate the time. You want to make sure that you allow enough time to be able to perform the service on your child. And remember, maybe the first time it may take a little longer time, but the more you do it, the more quicker you become. Also, you're teaching your child how to take care of their own hair, and that's the goal. As a parent and as a caregiver, they look to you for guidance and on how to do proper grooming. It's very important for you to set aside that time every 10 to 14 days or 7 to 14 as needed.
With our busy schedules and our kids in a lot of after school programs and mothers working and fathers working, sometimes we forget that we need to spend that time. So doing their hair is a perfect opportunity to spend quality time with your child. And we have completed Bree's style.